It's time for the Las Vegas Sportsline. Brought to you by the Westgate Las Vegas, home of the world's largest race and sportsbook and the Super Contest.
Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Presented by WagerTalk.com.
Here we go. It is the Tuesday edition of the Las Vegas Sportsline. It's brought to you by Superbook USA at the Westgate. Eric Osterman will be joining us this week in place of the vacationing Jeff Sherman. You'd never know Jeff's on vacation. He's tweeting like crazy because he's always, keeping everybody updated on the odds. The U.S. Opens this week, so big stuff there. Eric Osterman, however, will be with us this week, and you can follow Eric at I forgot his
eBets91.
eBets91. There you go. Thank you. You can follow Marco DAngelo at
Marco in Vegas. It's very
Vegas.
easy.
Yes. And you can follow me at Dave Cokin. You can follow Ari Platinum as well at
Token __. I have to do something about that.
Token __. Interesting handle.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I guess we might talk about the Warriors a little bit. What a game. If you were listening 2 Fridays ago, we had John Lyons on from Lyons Physical Therapy, sponsors of our Play of the Day. And he talked about the injury Durant had, and he knows his stuff. He said, look, there's risk involved because a strain is a partial tear, and coming back without a great deal of rest, it does increase the possibility of a tear. It tore.
It did. And Dave, I know that from horse racing as well. It's the same thing. Anything soft tissue is 10 times worse than a broken bone.
Well, and the thing is that what people don't understand is they hear strain. It doesn't sound bad.
Yeah.
But a strain is, as John explained, it's actually a partial tear.
Yeah, and it came back, and, it's ironic that, the guy on the floor on the other team was Kawhi Leonard, and everybody last year, all of the stuff about him not, rushing back to play and this and that and protecting a big contract and everything else. You look at Kevin Durant right now. I mean, there are so many dominoes in this thing that's going to fall
down. He's going
to
be out almost all next year and all like that.
Right. But what's this do for, his payday? He was sitting on, one of the biggest scores in NBA history as far as a contract signing goes. And it was almost a foregone conclusion that he was going to the Knicks. And what does this do now to the Knicks?
Can they sign him now? You're going to have to sit. You basically have to throw out a whole year. I don't know. I have no idea. I can tell you this. It took a lot of stones for him to go out there, and clearly not 100% last night. He played his ass off and then, got injured again. But, if you don't give major props to Kevin Durant for putting the team ahead of himself, the team way ahead of himself, if you don't respect that, then you should stop rooting for, and shame on the fans that cheered.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Shame on
Absolutely.
them. I mean, that is disgraceful. And it's not the first time it's happened, and I don't want to hear, Toronto's a bad market. It happens in every market, okay? But the individuals that took part in that cheer fest,
yeah, let's not chastise the whole city because it's in every city. There's a core of people that are just
absolutely 100%.
They're stupid. Okay,
yes.
Plain and simple. Did you? I forget his name, but the general manager of the Golden State Warriors. Did you see his interview? You want to talk about a guy that was literally, visibly shaken up over this. You wonder how much. The fact that he was so upset, wonder what happened behind the scenes that, led to the decision for him to play.
Look, ultimately the decision was made by Kevin Durant.
Right.
Who wanted to go out there and help his team try and overcome a 3-1 deficit and win another championship. And all I can do is tip my cap to Kevin Durant and say, man, you are the goods. And I hope he makes a full recovery and it comes back better than ever because that's a quality team guy right there.
It is. Unfortunately, with that type of injury, it's a long road back, Dave, and there is no guarantee that you're going to be, 100% to what, you were. Now, granted, even a 85% Kevin Durant is better than,
almost anybody.
Right. Exactly. But, it's such a shame. And, they got the game.
The good part is the rehab process is a lot better than it used to be.
Absolutely.
It's night and day from where it was 25 years ago. So there's a good chance that he'll make a complete recovery. It's just going to take a lot of time.
A lot of time, and this is an injury that not only a lot of time, but, man, the work process that has to go in, to getting yourself back to that, The question is now, can Golden State, use this as a motivational thing?
Look, I don't know. I'm not big on motivation when it comes to the finals. I mean, if you're not super motivated, there's something wrong with you. The question I have is Toronto able to recover after seemingly having it wrapped up last night? You're up 6 points with just outside of 2 minutes to go. And the other team's minus their best, one of their two best guys. You're supposed to win the game. And they didn't. And now what comes to mind immediately is, are they going to pull a Houston Rockets? Are they now overmatched psychologically by the Warriors? Because I'll tell you this, if Toronto, I know that Toronto's got Game 7 at home, they better win Game 6 in Oakland. Because if it comes back to Game 7, I don't care where it is, they can move the game to the moon. The Warriors, in my opinion, are going to beat them in Game 7 if it comes to that.
Yeah, and we talked about it yesterday, Dave. There's one thing about getting to the next level. There's another thing of getting that win, and it was their first closeout game in, franchise history for a title. Up 6. When Kawhi hit the second three to go up 6,
that's it.
To me, what did they have to be at that point? Were they in a 90% range?
I don't know what the math is exactly, but yeah, they were huge favorites at that point. But the Warriors played some defense down the stretch. And Draymond, everybody's getting on Lowry for the last shot. You see the defense down. His defense, Draymond Green's defense on that play was awesome. he ruined the shot.
He did. When they got to that last play, David, and everybody does it when you're playing for the last shot. Put it up sooner. Don't wait till the last.
I agree.
I
don't worry. It goes back to this, and I don't care what sport it is. We talk about this all the time in football because it's the most apparent in football, where teams with leads start playing not to lose the game rather than staying aggressive and trying to win the game. And I thought Toronto did that, particularly in the last possession. Leonard has got the ball. You drive. Try and create something here. If you miss, I don't care if there's I don't care if there's a few seconds left or not.
You want a few seconds to have the opportunity for a rebound.
Well, yeah, but the flip side of it is they look, if you miss and there's 5 seconds left, then Golden State's got all those guys who can shoot threes, and you can lose the game. But you can't have that mentality. And to me, working for the last shot, especially down one.
Right. It wasn't a tie. It's a different story if it's tie. When you're down one.
But I want to be aggressive anyway. If you get a good shot with 9 seconds left and you make it, all right, so Golden State gets a chance to win the game. That's the way it goes. You got to try what they settled for. And they had a timeout left. As good as Nurse has been, I don't think he did his best job with the timeouts last night. Anyway, Warriors win by 1. We'll talk about what happened as far as the book results are concerned with Eric Osterman in a little bit. Got to talk about the Angels and Dodgers. That was a great game last night. I mean, this freeway series is a lot of fun. The Angels have owned the Dodgers in Anaheim. And they come back from a 3-0 deficit last night. Trout with the big blow to get them back even. And then Joe Kelly with a really bad melt again in the 8th inning. I mean, Dave Roberts, you got to stop using him. It's that simple. It's not October 2018 when Kelly was sensational, best guy in the bullpen for Boston. He just doesn't have it. He's not confident, and you got to stop going to him in close games.
Yeah, Dave, and you talk about this series, the Freeway Series. It's a rivalry, Dave, but you got to admit, this means more to the Angels than it means to the Dodgers. When you're the second fiddle in a city, you really get up for these games. And for the Dodgers, it's just another game on the 162-game season.
Let's go to tonight's action, and we will do that with our Tuesday MJ Christensen Diamonds 4 at 4.
1, 2, 3 into the 4.
Put them fours up. Put the fours up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sports Line's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
Speaking of the Dodgers and Angels, we'll save that for the marquee matchup later on. Diamondbacks and Phillies. Everybody likes to see home runs. But do you really want to see 13 in one game? An all-time record established last night at that little bandbox the Phillies call home. 13 home runs in the game. That's absurd.
No sweat if you had the over.
Oh, boy. The ball's just too live. It's too tightly wound. And, you get one team on pace for over 300 homers this year. That's the Twins. And stuff like last night. Now, look, it's an outlier, okay? I mean, there's not going to be that many games with this many home runs, but 13 home runs in one game is absurd. There won't be as many tonight for two reasons. One, well, they're just not going to hit 13 again. And two, a little more pitcher-friendly conditions based on the wind this evening. So maybe more of a typical baseball game this evening between the Diamondbacks and Phillies. But it's not the best pitching matchup of all time either.
No, Dave. Remember back at the beginning of the season, we were both wondering, where's Arizona going to get their offense from this year? We look at losing Goldschmidt and everything else. Well, this Arizona team, they've won 7 of their last 9 games, Dave. In the last 4 games, they've scored 35 runs. They have been, as you said, just hitting the cover off the baseball.
A couple of guys who have really advanced this year. Ketel Marte turned into a threat on offense, and Eduardo Escobar is turning out to be legit. I mean, I think he's played at an all-star level.
Yeah, they're not missing Goldschmidt at all. No. And we thought Goldschmidt was on a decline, and he's doing well for St. Louis. Jake Arrieta's on the mound tonight for Philly, and he struggled in his last 2 starts, Dave. 10 runs in his last 9 2/3 innings of work. And what's more alarming with Arrieta is the fact that his strikeout-to-walk ratio in those 2 games, 6-6. That is not good, and he needs to have the control when he's pitching. Philadelphia, though, they're 11-1 after scoring and allowing 8 runs or more the last 3 seasons. They're 12-2 at home after a game where the bullpen was hit hard, giving up 4 or more earned runs the last 2 seasons. But on the flip side to that, Arizona 8-1 after scoring 10 runs or more this season, and they're 15-5 on the road if they've won 6 or more of their last 8 games over the last 2 seasons. I think both teams are in a positive scenario tonight. I'm going to look again to the over. I just don't see that we're all of a sudden going to get a pitching duel out of these two. I'll take the over 9 runs.
Cubs and Rockies, good ball game last night. The Rockies pulled it out 6-5. Almost all the scoring took place in the 3rd inning when the Cubs put a 4-spot up against German Marquez, who just his mechanics got completely out of whack in the 3rd inning, and he was overthrowing the ball. David Bodie took him deep to start the inning, and it's like Marquez went on tilt for the rest of the inning. But then he settled down. Yu Darvish then gave up 4 runs in the bottom of the 3rd, and he settled down. So it's 4-4 late. Diamondbacks score in the 7th. Excuse me, the Rockies score in the 7th, take a 5-4 lead. They give it back. And then they scored again in the bottom of the 8th. Take a 6-5 lead, and Wade Davis shut him down in the 9th. So the Rockies win a close game. Tonight, Quintana for the Cubs. Peter Lambert makes his 2nd start for the Rockies. He's their best pitching prospect, and he looked great in his debut. But that was at Wrigley Field against this very same Cubs team. So rookie pitcher facing the same guys for the 2nd time in a week. I got a feeling they'll do some damage to him tonight. The Rockies are not as potent offensively against lefties. Cubs look live here. They are the favorite, though.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I like the Cubs in this one. And let's not forget, Dave, put on top of last night's game for the Cubs, that was a horrible scheduling spot for them. Going to Coors off of the Sunday night game. And as you said, Lambert, with facing the same team on back-to-back starts, that gives the advantage to the opposing team getting to see him. And let's not throw in, this is going to be his debut in Coors as a starter. Yes. That's intimidating as well. I like the Cubs in this one. I'll give you a little stat here with the Cubs. Over the last 3 seasons, when they're on the road and the total's been 10 or higher, the Chicago Cubs are 17-4, Dave. I'm going to go ahead. I'll take them. You're getting a nice, You lost some of the value. I still think there's value here, though, with the Cubs. They actually opened up a small dog in this one, and they're up to $1.28 from the overnight. So I'll go ahead and take Chicago as they even the series tonight in Colorado.
Rangers and Red Sox, Gerardo on the mound for Texas. He's been a pleasant surprise in a season full of pleasant surprises for the Texas Rangers, who are right now the wild card team, second wild card in the American League. So they're playing good ball. Came back last night after another great performance by Chris Sale. The Red Sox bullpen did not get the job done last night, and Texas won the game